You know, insecurity in our country has taken a heavy toll on all of us. An estimated 322 policemen plus officers and 642 soldiers lost their lives in theaters of conflict over the past 12 months alone. Everybody's scandalized, and why not? According to the Middle Belt Forum, killing of hundreds of military security personnel and others is an indication that Nigeria is a failed state. To the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, Nigeria is at war with itself. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, urges federal government to be ruthless with bandits, terrorists, and others. As far as the Northern Elders Forum is concerned, killing of 322 police officers plus 642 soldiers shows we are in very difficult circumstances. How more outraged can we ever be, Jide? How more outraged can we ever be?
If we count the number of civilians lost, it is way higher than this. Way higher than this. Nothing signposts the extent of the problem we face more than the fact that we are hemorrhaging lives on a daily basis. The Sultan of Sokoto said the insecurity in the north is grossly underreported. I agree absolutely with him. I agree absolutely with him because even as an individual, there are so many cases that I hear that I don't bother to talk about. That I do not report, I do not comment on, especially in the Northeast. So it's a fact that northern Nigeria has become extremely difficult to live in. People are losing their lives while commuting from community to community. Soldiers are being killed still in the Northeast by ISWAP, through ambushes, through their IEDs. Yes, we can report that there is some level of progress, especially in the Northeast. But the threats remain. And clearly the terrorists are not prepared yet to give up the fight. We've seen a lot of them surrender, but the people surrendering are members of one faction. And the more deadly faction, we are not seeing people surrendering from that group. That is the group that takes the fight to the army. That is the group that attacks military bases. Those ones are hardened terrorists, and they are not giving up the fight. They are not surrendering. They want to continue to fight. So, and if that remains the case, our security agencies will lose their lives. It's a normal thing that in war, the enemy will lose, we too will lose. To imagine that in warfare, the battle will be so one-sided that we won't lose soldiers is a waste of time. We love our soldiers. We want them to win.
Collateral damage.
We want them to win. But in this kind of war, asymmetric warfare for that matter, it is not some of the things that happen you do not expect to see them happen. You could be on your way, maybe you are, especially now that we have super camps and the rest. The fact that you have super camps is no guarantee that while you are sending troops to deliver logistics from to certain military bases to do admin work, that they can be ambushed. In fact, more than 80% of the soldiers that we have lost in movement of our troops, the one that was killed for Haram, I saw the other day, they knew that he was going to lead a team meant to reinforce the troops on ground.
But does that not tell you there's the element of the fifth column? There.
No, even that one, I don't believe it was a case of it column.
Okay.
The way Boko Haram operates, when they attack a military base, they expect that you will try to send reinforcements.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they lie along the route leading to that base so that the reinforcement team can be attacked. That's what they did. So at 2 different points, they attacked our troops. They know that it's a natural thing that you will want to reinforce those on ground, especially if that place is a smaller military unit. They know that if it's a smaller military unit, it can easily fall into the hands of the enemy. So we would then reinforce the troops on ground by sending fighters from the nearest military bases. So they always expect that we will do that. So they go and wait. So you must fight through ambushes sometimes to even get to the location. So this is the thing. This is how we are losing troops. The loss of troops may not be announced officially, but you see, even on social media, people posting pictures of their loved ones.
Yeah.
Yes, soldiers that we had lost. That's how sometimes we get to know that these things have happened. And people we are losing a lot of soldiers. As long as the war continues, if we do not find a way to end this senseless war, we will continue to lose soldiers
and pay the price.
Yes. So Nigerians must realize that so much sacrifice is being made by our troops. If we can lose 600 and something soldiers, that's almost double the number of policemen that we have lost in the last 1 year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's a signal to the point that, to the fact that the war has not ended.
Yusuf, you know, the Middle Belt Forum, what it is saying is critical, that these are signs of a failed state. Or you don't agree with them, or do you?
I do. I agree with them. Yes, I do.
Or a failing state.
Or a state that is in the process of failing.
Because we shouldn't be extremely pessimistic, let's say a failing state. Even when you look at the research, firm that did this, that came up with this report, it categorized Nigeria as a state at war. And the two most, universally acknowledged definitions of war are quoted, and Nigeria fits the bill, even more than. You get my point? So apart from that, you have about 1,000, the same report said 1,989 bandits were killed during the same time, 973 Boko Haram, 129 vigilante, 100 IPO, and so on and so forth. Then these are small numbers when you compare to civilians who died through all this kind of so
put simply, the whole country is scandalized.
That's it. That is it. Initially, when we love to talk about insecurity problems, it was always about northeast. Now it's no longer only northeast. You have to talk about northwest. You have to talk about north central. You have to talk about southwest. You have to talk about southeast. So the insecurity is pervasive now in our country, and it becomes more sad when those all of us will rely on to visit our security agencies when they are dying in large numbers.
When they are being killed,
this portends greater danger than we can ever envisage. When you are killing our military, you are killing our soldiers, you are killing our policemen. In fact, in the report, some numbers of DSS people died. People, customs people that died. It's in that report. Number of paramilitary organizations that lost. So you see, when we're having this, even though the government doesn't like us to say worsening security, because the security is worsening. They say it's worsening security. It gets worse by the day. And we need to do.
The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, is saying government should be ruthless with these bandits, how more ruthless should we be?
We can be more ruthless. We can be more decisive. We can be more ruthless. This weekend, the 8th Division of the Nigerian Army in Sokoto was involved in
skirmish,
more than a firefight against Turji's men.
Oh, really?
In Isa local government of Sokoto State. A lot of us are happy that at least the airless report from that war zone indicates that the enemy suffered significant setbacks. We do not know the level of fatality on the part of the army. In warfare, you want to have the full information. Did we lose own troops? Did we lose equipment? All of these are necessary, but what we have had is that Turji was shot and his men managed to spirit him to safety.
Okay.
If this is true, at least we are taking the fight to them. We've always demanded that we should take the fight to them. We've always demanded that our people should provide information that will help the military to get to where the enemy is and deal decisively with the enemy.
But you know, that's that's a crux of the matter. People volunteering information at a time like this.
Yes, people need to volunteer information. Sometimes our people are scared because these boys that we are fighting against also have informants within the armed forces. And sometimes when you provide information, they could come for you and take your life. You know, so people don't want to take that risk. But the armed forces have to reassure our people that when they provide such information, the information will be used in a responsible manner and the enemy will be taken out completely. That is what we want to see. But when I say we should be more ruthless, I mean that the full resources available to the armed forces should be unleashed. We've seen bandits chase away the military from their base in Niger State, not once, not twice. Because because they had the resources, they had the weapons to launch such an attack.
And perhaps the information.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, they of course, they always make use of good intelligence. Some of my friends in the army have told me that they were in Borno North and Boko Haram sent drones to the military location. It was around 6 p.m. and they saw drones flying towards the direction of the army base. Of course, they knew that it was from the enemy. That is how they know the number of troops at that location. So that when they now want to attack our troops, they could come with 3 times
that number.
That is when you hear that the military, lose their base. Because if the bulk of you are carrying AK-47 and the enemy too came with 3 times the number of people, the number of troops at the location carrying the same weapon that you are carrying, the soldiers are not going to wait. It is tactical.
What I'm told is that the
tactical retreat is what will happen.
What I'm told is that the terrorists don't have problems with recruiting boys and men. They have people working for them.
Of course, same as Boko Haram, because the social problems that we're facing in our country, ensure that
this is one of the jets we're talking about?
No, this is a JF-17 that we bought from Pakistan.
Okay.
JF-17. Just similar to F-16 of the US.
Yeah, okay.
This is not It's not Tucano, because Tucano is a fixed wing propeller bomber
aircraft.
Yes. So they continually get information. They continually get foot soldiers because the conditions make that so possible. There are many people who have not felt the evidence of governance. They've been living in an area for years, no presence of government. It's just these people that they live with. And these people will come promising all kinds of things and promising them that if you fight on our side, you go to Aljana. We've shown videos here of Boko Haram sharing money to people during Salah in Borno North. Sharing rice. We showed it here. Sharing rice to people. That is how they recruit people. You see children as young as 8 years, 10 years being given cash. A lot of them had never owned cash of their own. Cash of that size of their own. And you see the enemy enticing our people with cash, giving bags of rice to our people, promising our farmers that, look, if you pay us tax, we will allow you to farm as much as you want. That's what they do in areas that they control. Yeah. Although you hear stories that they don't control anywhere. Yeah. But the people who are telling those lies, it is them and their God.
You said, these are very crazy times. And the tragedy of war is that it uses man's best to do man's worst. And in war, they say you don't talk about who is right, who is wrong, but how many people are left. So this is a crazy time in our country. And I talked about supposed peace time. That peace is eluding us. And Christmas is just 6 days away. Only goodness knows what will happen next.
There's one thing that just comes to my mind. Governor Tamboa has been putting a proposal before Mr. President that in security, in places where security crisis is so very serious, that people in those areas, why don't you give them a form of military training? I mean, defense, self-defense, training. Maybe this may also come, may also help that in places, because now we seem to have overburdened our military everywhere now. And at some point, do you know, I'm really afraid that at some point, what will happen in Nigeria? These people are getting killed. The security crisis is getting worse. And before you hear today, you say another state has also joined. There is a Boko Haram is here. Bandits are taking credit to here. All those things. And who do you call? You call on soldiers. At some point.
And ideally, it's the police's job to be charged with internal security of any country.
But this is far beyond the might of our, policemen. And I expect that with the efficiency of our DSS and other organizations, I don't know, maybe we have not been getting enough benefit in terms of synergy, in terms of cooperation, because you can't win any war without having intelligence gathering right.
Good. I was going to go there.
If you get
intel, very, very
DSS, we say they want to scandalize so a group wants to run smear campaign. Okay, if you have all this information and intelligence, why don't you help us in this?
Work with them.
No, apart from working with them, use the same skill in the area of insurgency, banditry, and all that.
Neutralizing.
Because there is nothing that will happen. Some people must have planned it. You get my point? If you are able to foil this as many as possible, then our crisis will not be worsening. You get my point?
Yeah.
Now, Christmas, as you say, is around the corner. People will want to travel. Is it a risky thing? I say yes. But many people will still, you know, defy whatever and travel. I wish them, you know, safety journey. But the truth is, we are not doing enough. I've not seen the level of anger on the part of leadership that not anymore. You get my point?
Yeah.
That this has not, you know, to me, when I look at leadership generally, I've not seen the level of anger to say not any, that put your feet on the ground, that's not this or nothing. You know?
Yusuf, I'm not holding brief for Mr. President, but Mr. President had given the order to the military, go all out. What more should he do?
What more should he do?
Yeah, natural question.
Okay. The president can do more in terms of, in many of these places where problems persist, how many times has he visited them? You need to ask. Sometimes they may help him.
Yeah,
you need to bring.
The president's visits to any theater
must
come on advice.
You need to bring people into this fight.
Reassure them.
You need to bring. You know, Nigerians, we need to win this war. Without them, you cannot win it. The soldiers, even 10 times the number we have now, cannot win it. So by going out, sometimes where this crisis, you empathize with them, you go there, you mingle with them. Sometimes some things will happen. Even on the part of governors, they are not doing enough. Not only the president.
Gide, and we are not looking at our borders that remain ever porous. These people will come in at will, you know, and go out at will.
Yes, especially our border with Niger Republic, we have extensive land borders with Niger Republic, stretching around 1,000 kilometers. This is where a lot of the illicit weapons come into our country, because our border with Chad, our land border with Chad, is a very small one. So there is not so much activity along that area as we have with Niger Republic. The border with Cameroon, yes, in terms of smuggled goods, they bring in a lot of smuggled goods, but in terms of illicit firearms, the bulk of the weapons coming into our country are coming in through Niger Republic. Yes, and a good part of that country is also ungoverned space. Rebels from Mali,
but does it not
from
say
Burkina
anything
Faso
about the government of Niger doing something about their border, as we are bothered about it?
And because it's also like a failed state, a lot of a huge portion of the country is ungoverned space.
Wow.
People, fighters from Mali, from Burkina Faso, they're coming into Niger Republic to cause trouble, and it's also affecting Nigeria, because as we can see now, some of those people are the people causing trouble in Sokoto, for example. Some of them have joined the bandits. Yes, some of them have already joined the bandits, you know, because we've not found a way to keep our borders secure. And I doubt if the customs, especially in the northeast, I doubt if the customs can get in the way and stop Boko Haram fighters, ISWAP fighters from receiving supplies.
But you and I know that even smugglers are more than a handful for them.
Yes, not to talk of, talking about the northeast, those communities through which Boko Haram, you go to places like Yobe, you know, communities like Babangida, Gaidam, these are all lying along the border with Niger Republic, and Boko Haram is very, very active in those areas. Yes, so they can bring in weapons when they like. They can move in freely. Some of those little hamlets around those areas, they are occupying those places. They can jump in and out of both countries. It's terrible, but the best we can do is to continue to encourage the armed forces to acquire the game-changing weapons that would ensure that we are on top of the situation. There is still a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah, to be done. And,
Yes.
and of course, we talk about the 21st century warfare. A lot less of men involved, but more of gadgetry and so on.
Yes, and the Air Force.
Okay then.